During the past 63 years, over 7,000 Brethren volunteer service workers have attempted to provide solutions to some of the world's deeply rooted problems, and by doing so have had life-changing experiences of their own. On any given day, 100 BVS volunteers are volunteering their time at almost 100 projects in this country and in 16 countries around the world. Hello, I'm Brent Carlson. Welcome to Brethren Voices. Today, we have a number of guests that we would like you to meet. We have 3 volunteers who are serving in the Portland area. 2 of them have come from Germany to volunteer here in the United States. Since 2009, Brethren Volunteer Services has created intentional community houses in the United States for volunteers at 3 different locations: Portland, Oregon, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Elgin, Illinois. These projects offer volunteers a community living experience where they actually live together, eat together, and practice conflict resolution together. Kind of sounds like a family, doesn't it? While doing this, they volunteer in their local community programs and serve to meet the needs of the community. Today, we are privileged to have with us in the studio Beth Merrill, who is the coordinator of the Brethren Volunteer Service House in Portland, Oregon. Beth, welcome to Brethren Voices.
Thank you.
You were a Brethren Volunteer Service worker yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was in BVS for 4 years. I spent the first 2 years at 2 different projects that were focused on youth and children work. And then my second 2 years I actually spent in the BVS office working with orientations and the volunteers in BVS itself.
Can you tell us what was the purpose of setting up a BVS house in Portland?
The purpose. Well, BVS got really excited about the idea of intentional community houses, houses where volunteers weren't just living and working at their projects, but where they're being intentional about living with each other and working together as a community and pooling the resources. And as BVS was getting excited about this, they wanted to partner with congregations to host these houses, so it wasn't just volunteers living together, but it was volunteers living together in the community with the congregational community. And as that excitement was spreading, Peace Church in Portland is one of the congregations that got really excited about the idea of having volunteers come and be a part of the community here in Portland.
So when you say intentional living or conventional community, can you say a little bit more about that?
Intentional living in community is kind of a step beyond just living in a house with people. It is living with people and actively being a part of a family together. It's pooling your resources, your money, your time, your effort in life. It's eating meals together. It's going and doing fun things together. It's dealing with whatever conflicts arise within your community together. It's more like living as a family than living with just roommates. You become an integral part of each other's lives, and you are intentional about knowing each other and knowing what's going on in their lives, and being together in your experience of life, and not just passerbys who happen to live in the same house.
So what's involved in setting up a BVS house? How does a house get selected and rented and furnished, and how do all those things happen?
When looking at a house, started to look at the house right next door to the church. It's the old parsonage, and it's a 3-bedroom house. It's really close to the church, and it has a lot of yard, and it's a really nice space. And so we called the landlord, said we're interested in renting the house, and it worked out that it became available right when we needed it. We, as Peace Church, started to rent the house, and we went in and we cleaned the house, and as a congregation, we furnished the entire house. We kind of have a list of what a house needs, and everybody pitched in, and we had beds, and we had dressers, and we had couches and carpets, and everything was donated and provided for by the congregation.
And how about the work sites? How were the work sites picked, and do you have contracts with them, or who has the contract, and how does that work?
When it came to selecting projects, we, as Peace Church, did a lot of the legwork. We talked to projects that we already have relationships with, like Snowcap and Human Solutions, that have long-standing histories with Peace Church. And then we went out and started to discuss BVS with them, kind of had some meetings and explained what BVS is and the projects. And then once the projects got excited about them, we would connect them to the BVS office in Elgin, and then they would do the official paperwork and signing up as projects with the BVS office itself in Elgin.
What kind of a program is suitable to be a contracted site for a volunteer?
There's a huge variety in projects. There's 4 basic tenets of BVS: advocating for justice, working for peace, serving human need, and caring for creation. And BVS projects fall in one or many of those categories. So there's a huge variety of potential BVS projects.
Beth Merrill, thank you for being with us on Brethren Voices. It's very interesting to hear about this BVS house.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure to talk about it.
Thank you for all your efforts to help make things work. The Portland Brethren Tour Volunteer Service House began in 2010 with 2 volunteers and 2 individuals who were just leaving BVS. The 2 volunteers were from Virginia. Heather Lance worked for Snowcap Community Charities. We were fortunate to have met with Heather and the staff of Snowcap and talked about the wonderful work that is being done for the community.
Every day we serve about 60 to 160 or 180 families in our food pantry. Families come in and fill out a short application, and then we have about 12 volunteers who work in our pantry each day, who personally go through with each client and help them select the items or let them know how many items from each shelving unit they can select. And then we also have several volunteers who keep the shelves stocked in the pantry throughout the day. And then we have generally 1 to 2 folks who help people out to their cars with their several bags of groceries. This year has been a great one for me. I think one of the most wonderful parts of the year is having the opportunity to work with so many wonderful volunteers who give part of their week every week to Snowcap. So that's been wonderful. It's also been really special to see the direct impact of what we do back in the warehouse as far as receiving food and getting it organized for our shelf stockers and keeping things flowing in the warehouse, to be able to see the direct result of that as our clients come through the pantry and take food and leave feeling a little more satisfied and like they can go about the rest of the business of their day, not having to worry about where food's going to come from for their evening meal. So it's been really special to work with both the volunteers and to just know that it's community helping community. I think that's important, and that's something that I'll take with me. Most of our volunteers here are folks who live around this area, around Gresham and around the eastern part of Portland, and they're just here to help their fellow community members. And that's something I think we can all learn something from.
Our second volunteer from Virginia was Chelsea Goss. She worked with On Earth Peace to coordinate peace workshops around the country.
About half the time I spend here in Portland, Oregon in the offices on my computer, and then the other half I'm traveling. It's literally like half and half. And so I have been everywhere from Boulder, Colorado to Pennsylvania, Michigan, Florida, and many other places in between. And I lead peace retreats because I'm the peace retreat coordinator for On Earth Peace. So I get to work with junior high and senior high youth for a weekend full of learning about like why as Christians we want to be peacemakers and what that looks like in our everyday life, and then how we can implement that into our life after the retreat. I have gone into retreats teaching anything from conscientious objection and what that looks like, to understanding differences, to communication styles, conflict resolution, biblical roots of peacemaking, Christian nonviolence, and much more. The list just goes on. And so every retreat is different and specialized towards that congregation, and each retreat is unique in its own way.
Eileen, you were on the church board when the discussion of the BVS house came up and needed approval. Could you tell us a little bit about your experiences and how all of the support was generated for the BVS house in Portland?
Well, the church board was very excited about having an intentional community right next door. So it was an easy thing for us to approve and get moving. It's been a delight to get the house going, and I think as far as my personal support, it was just so much fun to get everything together and to set this house up for 4 people that we hadn't met yet. Very exciting for us. And the support that we provide to the young people is just basic support. Like maybe they need to learn to cook something so they can go to someone's house and learn to cook something, or maybe they need transportation to go somewhere else. So those kinds of things are the things that we support with now. But it's very exciting to have them, and I'm delighted. I'm always delighted with the BVS'ers.
So there was 2 BVS'ers in the first round and 2 other volunteers that are working somewhere else, and now there's 2 more BVS'ers and another person who's volunteering. What do you think about the collection of people who are coming to live in the house?
Well, I think it's really wonderful in that it helps us connect with the larger church. 3 of the people that came in the last group came from Virginia, and I don't have any experience with Virginia, so I learned a lot of things about Virginia through them. And because of where they come from, our connection, Peace Church's connection with the larger church or the denomination is greater because we have these people here, and then they go back and they talk about Peace Church or Pacific Northwest or Oregon. And so it's been really nice to have that connection.
Wonderful. Do the young people come to church at Peace Church?
Yes, that's part of their commitment, is to be part of the church itself, and they bring to us gifts. So they've come and they've brought special music to us, or they'll come and tell us about their projects, or they'll preach. And so it's lovely to have them come.
Can I ask you if you've ever been to the house and visited with the residents in the house?
Oh yeah, we've been to the house several times. It's been mentioned that it's the former parsonage. It's right next door to the church, and the door is always open to members of the church. We enjoy going over there and visiting, socializing, playing games. Games are a big thing with BVS'ers. They like card games and board games and all that kind of stuff. It's the socialization that happens over a friendly game is just very important. I'm just so impressed with the young people that have been through there. It hasn't been quite so very long since I was a young person myself, and to see their enthusiasm and their energy has been just a wonderful thing.
Eileen, I saw you perk up in the middle of Patrick's comments. Do you have something you'd like to add?
Well, I just want to say that I think that the BVS'ers have done a wonderful job keeping up the house. When we first rented it, it was overgrown. The yard was overgrown. The trees and the shrubbery was overgrown. And they got right in. They cleaned it up. They created a garden in the backyard and grew some of their own food. And they've done just a really super job. And I think the thing that I delighted in the most is that we set it up for them, and they came in and made it their own. So where we put the couch is not where they wanted the couch. They came in and made it their own. And we set the bedrooms up, and they came in and made it up their own way. And that just delights me, that they felt the ownership and the permission to do that and make it their own. And so this little house next door is no longer a house, it's a home. And it's really a wonderful thing.
Thank you. Laura Sewell, welcome to Brethren Voices.
Thank you.
You are a long-term member of the Church of the Brethren, and you have been on a mission long ways from home. Were you involved in helping set up the house and making it available to people?
Well, I wasn't able to do very much, but I did help some of the cleaning, and I had a good time and a happy time going through my house to find out what I could give to help them get everything they needed for their home.
So you were part of the donations committee. And what kind of involvement have you seen the BVS'ers make at the church?
Well, they have been an addition to our church. They're young and active, and we appreciate having people like that come and join us. And we have enjoyed their music, and talking with them is interesting.
And I understand the members of the congregation are inviting them to their houses to, I guess, help them feel welcome and be part of the congregation as well, and you're about to do that.
Yes, they have been invited. They're coming for an Indian meal at my house on Saturday.
An Indian meal, like East Indian?
Yes.
Because I know that's where you served as a missionary for a long time. So you think it's been a good thing?
Yes, it's a very good thing. Our church has always, not only the church here, but the whole Church of the Brethren, has always been a volunteer church. And so being part of it is really very good for us.
Mm. And you've seen that tradition kind of blossom in Portland.
Yes, it has grown during the years.
Wonderful. The idea of BVS, or Brethren Volunteer Service, was presented to the 1948 Annual Conference of the Church of the Brethren by the youth of the church. Since that time, there have been over 7,000 volunteers. Here's a message from Brethren Volunteer Services, working for peace in our world. Benedict, Andy, and Stephen, welcome to Brethren Voices, and thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having us here.
Benedict, what's it like to just graduate from high school and then come to a foreign country in a land you've never visited before?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of new experiences and new impressions every day. This is my first time that I'm away from my family, away from the place where I have lived in my entire life. And so it's the first time that I'm away from this this secured background or the backup for my family. Always when I had problems, I could just rely on them, and this is the first time where I learn or where I experience to have other people around me who can help me, or who I can get assistance from.
And what's it like living with two other young men who are strangers? Were strangers 2 months ago? They were strangers to you.
So I guess it's very exciting, but I mean we already lived 2 months together now, and you get to know each other every day a bit better, and you have a lot of things you do together. We were on concerts together. We we have dinner together. We spend a lot of time. And so it is in the first days it was strange and new to just share the place you live in and share the room with those two other guys with completely different backgrounds, but you grow together and you get to know each other.
Did you know anything about the Church of the Brethren before you came to the United States?
The Church of the Brethren is not really popular in Germany. So even though the Church of the Brethren was founded in Germany, it is not I have not really heard about it before. And so I just started informing myself about this congregation when I heard about BVS, so from Irene, from my original organization. I just surfed in the internet and I was talking to people who had experiences with BVS and just asked them what is the Brethren Church about. But the Brethren Church is not really well known in Germany.
Well, what made you want to come to the United States, and how did you pick this project?
So I think the United States, that I wanted to come to the United States, there was a dream from when I was when I was much younger. I always wanted to come to the United States. I never left Europe before I came here, and so I just wanted to see another part of the world. And I originally wanted to visit the United States or come here as a exchange student while I was in school, but then the school system in Germany were changed, and so I decided to first finish my high school and then come here. And why I wanted to come to Portland, I heard that Portland is a very green city, is a very progressive city, that there are a lot of young people because of the colleges here, and that is very interesting because I mean there is a lot of nice nature around here. We already saw the mountains. There's the Pacific not far away from here, so it's a very interesting place with a lot of things to do.
And what is your job? What is your project?
So my project is working with people experiencing homelessness, and on the other hand, low-income families. And my job is, I'm in this part of working with low-income families. We're assisting people paying their utility bills. So we help people to stay warm in the winter, and we're preventing people from getting homeless, because if you have no heat in your house or no electricity in your house in the winter, you can't stay there. And so we try to assist people who can't afford to pay their bills, to have a warm house.
Andy, you're a long ways from home as well. And can you tell us a little bit about your hometown in Germany?
My hometown is rather small. It's like 100,000 inhabitants, and it's called Würzburg. And it's very different to Portland because my hometown is in Bavaria, and so it's more conservative than Portland. But and it's more old-fashioned. You got a lot of churches there. It's a beautiful area around it, and a lot of young people because there's a university as well. But like I said, it's like in Bavaria, and it's not as progressive as Portland is, but I like it a lot.
And what's it like coming to Portland, which is a much bigger city and totally different culture?
It is really exciting because I didn't really plan to go to Portland when I came to the United States, so I ended up in Portland, and I didn't know the city before. Actually, I came to the United States. I've never heard of Portland before, but many people told me Portland is like the most progressive city in the United States, and it's very green, and so I'm really excited about Portland, and I met a lot of cool people, interesting people, like the Occupy movement is going on, and I met a lot of people in my work from Occupy, so you get like the feeling that in Portland there's a lot of going on, and it's really interesting to be here, and I'm excited. I
understand there's quite a few people from Germany that have come to be volunteers with BVS.
Right.
And there were 12 in your training group?
Right.
Is the spirit of volunteerism a very important part of German culture?
Well, I think the main reason why we have so many volunteers is because we had, for males who graduated from high school, we had a compulsory military service, and you could do this volunteer service as a substitute for that. Oh. But this was erased this year, so Germans are a little bit excited how that will develop, but I think many Germans do want to do a volunteer year. So for example, for my class, I guess like 10% are going, like these are like 20 people are going abroad doing a volunteer service or au pair. So I think Germans are pretty much want to like explore the world and want to help some. Yeah. So the compulsory military service is not required from starting in 2011? Yeah, right. It was erased because we had a military reform and it was erased. So nobody has to go to the military anymore. Yeah. And what are you doing on your project? I'm working with Sisters of the Road, which is part like a homeless shelter in downtown Portland, and we are serving, like I said, homeless people and people who can't afford like usual meals, and because we have no money for it. But Sisters not only a homeless shelter, they also can like get involved into Sisters. They can like earn their meals by actually working for the cafe, by distributing the food to the customers, by washing the dishes, so that everybody can get food, even though they have no money or they do have no food stamps. These are the other two ways you can pay in Sisters. So Sisters was founded 30 years ago, and the two people who founded it asked the homeless community what they need most, and they said, we want to have a place that we can work for our food, and this is how Sisters was founded. I'm working in the morning, I'm working in the cafe itself, scheduling the people who want to work in the cafe to actually get their food, because they do have no food stamps or something like that, and there are a lot of people who want to do that. And I'm doing that until 12 o'clock, and I'm also like responsible for the security in Sisters, because there are some incidents sometimes, like violence, or like we found drug paraphernalia in the bathrooms. And sometimes it's getting tough, but I really enjoy the work, and most people are really nice, and it's just so interesting to talk to people who are our customers, and I appreciate to serve them every day.
And how do you feel about being part of Peace Church and this intentional community?
That was interesting for me in the beginning, because I did not plan to go such an intentional community. I wanted originally go to San Francisco, which would not include something like that. So, and I'm not really religious myself. So I was excited about that, but I'm feeling really comfortable here, especially in Portland with this progressive church. And I really like it. I like the church life. I like going to church every Sunday. We have like an experimenting group every Wednesday where we are talking about our faith and our beliefs, and I really enjoy that life here.
Stephen Hendricks, you are from the Church of the Brethren and have a Brethren background.
That's right.
How did you end up in the BVS house?
Well, I just graduated from college in May and was looking for an exciting opportunity for the next year off. And so I had a friend that advised me to look into AmeriCorps for something that was still related to dentistry, as that's my pursuit as a career later on. So.
And you're working as an AmeriCorps volunteer in a clinic. Could you explain what that program is?
Yeah, so it's a free clinic. It's the largest free clinic in the state of Washington.
Does it do dental services?
It does dental, it does vision, and it does medical.
Mm-hmm.
So the dental program started in 2005, and they just have a dental van. So I'm the coordinator, so I help coordinate patients coming in, as well as the doctors who volunteer their time, and try to get all the scheduling and phone calls and data entry.
And what's your feeling about the intentional community? Is it because it's a Brethren church community? I suppose it's not such a big deal or so different from your past, or are you finding it interesting?
Oh, it's very interesting. Yeah, it is different because my dad's a pastor, so I've always had my father as my pastor. So it's different to have Kirby, who's the pastor, as someone that I hear every week instead of my dad's voice. So that's been exciting, and just the whole nature of the worship service is structured a little differently. And I feel like I'm at church about an hour or 2 hours afterwards, just talking with everyone, which is different for me as well.
And I'd like to thank our viewers for watching Brethren Voices today. This is Brent Carlson. Peace.